Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm Julian Morris. In the headlines, government prepares 2026-27 national budget amid global uncertainty. New project targets a high cost of livestock feed, and WATO returns with focus on ancestral traditions. The details of the headline stories and more when we return.
October is just around the corner. Time is running out. Get confirmed today.
Welcome back. As Dominica prepares to unveil its 2026-2027 national budget, government says its spending plans are being shaped by an increasingly uncertain global economic and geopolitical landscape. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says despite these external challenges, the budget will remain focused on protecting economic stability while advancing the country's development priorities. The Prime Minister has also suggested that the upcoming budget could include tax-related measures.
I believe the budget has to take all of those things into consideration, and the plight of the citizens of Dominica, the plight of the working people, because personally, and I've expressed that many times, I'm not a supporter of income tax. I don't believe it. I believe personally that people should be allowed to have the full money, the labor cost, because that's the labor that you're giving to somebody. And I do not believe that we should be taxing people's labor. I think we should allow people to get their full salary and spend it as you wish. You understand? And that's my personal view. But it is not for me to impose my personal view on the government or on the country. Though if I were to do that, there were many other things that would happen in Dominica that would place Dominica in a better position.
The Prime Minister said careful planning has been necessary to ensure the budget responds to global economic realities while remaining focused on national priorities. He said government intends to continue investing in infrastructure, climate resilience, housing, healthcare, education and economic growth while maintaining fiscal responsibility. The 2026-27 national budget will be presented in Parliament by the Minister for Finance, the Honourable Dr. Irving McIntyre, on Tuesday, August 4. The high cost of animal feed remains a major challenge for livestock farmers, but a new initiative is hoping to provide a locally driven solution through climate-smart forage production. The Climate-Smart Forage Transformation Project is being implemented through collaboration between the Dominica National Conservation Trust Fund and the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation in Agriculture, AICA, with support targeting livestock farmers across Dominica.
The Dominican livestock sector is at a crossroad. Our farmers face mounting challenges, from the increasing frequency of climate shocks like hurricanes and droughts, to the heavy dependence on imported feed, which most of you all may know will account for up to 60% of production costs. This reliance on expensive imports drains our farmers' incomes and leaves them vulnerable to global market fluctuations and supply chain disruptions. At the same time, our pasture lands continue to degrade, eroding our soil and diminishing our natural resources. Today, we launch a project that offers a solution. The Climate-Smart Forage Transformation Project introduces scientifically validated climate-resilient forage species which are acclimatized to our conditions, such as mulberry, tricanthera, African star, tanner grass, and the range of other grasses that we have locally.
The initiative will see forage plantlets reproduced through the Ministry of Agriculture for distribution to livestock farmers. AICA's technical specialist says about 30 farmers will receive training as part of the project.
Through this initiative, we will establish a functional foraging nursery at the Central Livestock Farm capable of producing thousands of plantlets each year. We will train and empower farmers to grow their own feed, conserve it during lean periods, and build profitable livestock enterprises. Over the course of this project, we aim to train up to 30 farmers, distribute over 36,000 climate-resilient plantlets, and rehabilitate 4.5 acres of degraded pasture. We are particularly committed to ensuring that women and youth are at the center of this transformation, and it's not just as an afterthought, but as leaders and beneficiaries.
Director of Agriculture Kian Stevenson says the project aligns with government's efforts to reduce Dominica's food import bill by strengthening local agricultural production.
While strengthening local livestock production, we are directly tackling Dominica's food import bill in meats. But while we aim to reduce meat imports and increase local production consumption, we must ensure that we do not increase animal food importation, because we're aiming to increase local production in meats. I say that again, because sometimes people do not think of the connection. So whilst we're aiming to reduce importation and we increase local production of meats, to reduce importation of meat and get persons to eat more local meat, we do not want that to result in the increase of importation of feeds. Hence, this project serves vital in the production of local feeds.
A celebration of Dominican cuisine, culture and heritage returns this October with a renewed focus on the stories and traditions that connect generations. The Culinary and Cultural Festival, WATO, is set to return on October 31, with organizers introducing a fresh vision for this year's event.
WATO is an outdoor cooking festival. We sort of renamed it this year to WATO Food and Culture Festival because we usually bring in not just the food culture of Dominica, but our dance culture, our music culture, and try to keep it as local and authentic as possible. Our theme this year is Ancestors.
This year's festival centers on the theme Ancestors, highlighting the role of food in preserving memories, celebrating traditions, and strengthening connections within families and communities.
Ancestors is our theme this year. So whatever your grandmother that passed away, or your uncle, or your parents, or anybody that passed away that, sort of raised you up cooking certain dishes, this is the dish where we want you to cook at Watu. This year. So we want you to bring that feeling at Watu. So it'll be an atmosphere of pure love and just togetherness. The event is October 31st at Rosalie. We're going back to Rosalie Bay Resort. Round of applause for that.
As excitement builds ahead of the October event, patrons are being encouraged to secure their tickets early and prepare for an experience that celebrates Dominican flavors and culture. You are watching National Focus. More when we return.
Escape to Dominica this winter and embrace the warmth of our authentic, natural hot springs. Whether for deep relaxation or therapeutic healing, Dominica's volcanic springs offer an experience like no other. Choose the temperature that's right for you, from soothingly cool to luxuriously hot. A variety of natural hot springs await in the heart of Dominica, the nature island.
Welcome back. As countries around the world face growing reluctance among citizens to share personal information, Dominica is experiencing similar challenges in its efforts to collect accurate population data. The Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says those challenges contributed to government's decision to discontinue the national census exercise and instead undertake a population count.
As you know, we had engaged on a census, and that census ended up having a lot of challenges. People do not want to share information. As a matter of fact, in other countries, they are experiencing that same challenge. Where people do not want to provide the information to people anymore and so forth. So we had to abort the census. And so we decided to go the route of population count. And I believe that exercise is ongoing. And even with that population count, you're having challenges, because you have to have a verification system.
The Prime Minister says a specific methodology is required for the population count, and that process requires engagement with residents to verify information. He also addressed concerns about population decline and the potential impact on Dominica's labor force and economy.
Majority of countries in the world, the Caribbean included, where you have increasing populations, are from migrants, not from the indigenous populations. You look at the United States, United Kingdom, many countries in Europe, the indigenous citizens of those countries. And this is why people have concerns about immigration, because they're seeing more people who are not looking like them making the majority of their countries. And so people are saying they no longer recognize the country. And that's placing a lot of political pressure on politicians in those countries to take decisions on immigration that otherwise they would not have taken. But at the end of the day, people are concerned about political survival, and they make decisions based on their political survival. So you have that situation where you have a global problem of population growth, and countries where you have that outside of Africa, it's because of migrants who are having children and happening there.
Prime Minister Skerrit says Dominica should consider a more liberal approach to immigration policy as the country seeks to address population and labor force challenges.
That in Dominica, our visa and migration policies must be more liberal, and allow people to come in and to be resident in Dominica. We are too fearful of people who maybe do not look like us, or maybe do not even speak our language. But we are concerned when we can't get a visa to go somewhere in this country. But we don't want to come to our country. But for me personally, I believe that the government needs to have a more liberal migration policy. I think we need to have a more relaxed policy to the Haitians in particular and others, and allow people to come in and to contribute to the economy. Because while people are saying that there are no jobs in Dominica, I have not met one employer in Dominica who has told me that they have no difficulty in finding workers. Every employer I have met in every sector in Dominica has told me that they have difficulties in getting people to work.
The Prime Minister says the issue is not unique to Dominica, noting that CARICOM itself is facing a shortage of skilled workers. He says moving workers from one member state to another will not fully address the region's skills gap.
Employers are saying they can't find people to work. And there are many areas in the economy where you have gaps of skills that we need people to come in. You understand? And even at the CARICOM level where you have the free movement of people, the entire CARICOM region has a skills deficit. So taking somebody from Dominica and St. Lucia or somebody from St. Vincent and Barbados is not the answer to the problem. You understand what I'm saying? It's not the answer to the problem. We have to look beyond the CARICOM region to see how we're going to grow our populations. And this is where we have to look at. We can't want to keep looking at some country to ourselves and the whole notion of package open Dominica mentality. We have to be more liberal on these things.
And now your weather update. A high pressure system will be the dominant feature across the island during the next 24 hours. A dry sinking air is also expected to restrict shower activity, with only isolated showers expected across parts of the island during the next 24 hours. Low concentrations of Saharan dust are expected to result in good to fair air quality during the next 24 hours. Persons who are overly sensitive to dust should continue to monitor conditions. Slight to moderate seas are forecast over the next 24 hours, with waves near 3 feet along the west coast and near 5 feet along the east coast. Meanwhile, 2 westward moving tropical waves are located in the tropical Atlantic Ocean and show no signs of development. The first wave is expected to approach the area by late Thursday into Friday. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production Team, I am Julian Morris. Thanks for watching.